Welcome to the TMZ podcast. You wanted to do the intro.
Actually, I didn't know who was doing the intro.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
glad
we
you did
didn't,
it.
we literally didn't talk about it at all, but you guys can hear if you're not watching Branson.
Hello.
Usually producing the show.
Right.
More behind the scenes kind of guy, but well, except for your own podcast, which is
I do.
killing it.
Have a wrestling podcast. If anybody doesn't know this, I am the man behind the microphone over there. I am the head producer of the podcasts here at TMZ, all 11 of our podcasts that we have. Yes, we have 11 podcasts here. So please, if you want to listen to anything else other than this one, there's a lot out there.
Look at this guy just promoting everything he's doing.
That's what I have to do.
I love it. So Charlie's out, like I told you guys yesterday, for the rest of the week. He is shooting somewhere else. So we will be covering the news today. The craziest story that kind of has just like taken the United States by storm, I feel like it's such a big national story, has just been the case of Savannah Guthrie from the Today Show. Her mom was abducted from her home in Tucson, Arizona, and they still have not found her. So we have a bunch of updates on the details of coming out of what the police have uncovered thus far, and any leads that they possibly had.
Right. Well, let's go off what we have so far. So all that we know, and this happened all so fast. Saturday night, she was out to dinner with her daughter, Savannah's sister, and there was no red flags. That authorities are saying no red flags whatsoever about anything during the dinner to suggest that there was anything wrong. She dropped her off. Her daughter dropped Nancy off at her home in Tucson, and sometime in the middle of the night, she was taken from her bed. That's what authorities are saying, that it was in the middle of the night, and she was taken from her bed by force. And now the new update that we have gotten from authorities is that there was blood found inside of the home, and they found signs of forced entry as well.
Yeah, so it's crazy because, I mean, when this story first came out, I don't know about you, but my first assumption when it was out that, you know, her 84-year-old mother was missing, usually in these situations, I feel like you jump to the conclusion that, oh, maybe she has dementia or some type of thing and, you know, left the home, was disoriented, they can't find her. But really what cops are saying is that this was an abduction. She was abducted from her home in the middle of the night. She actually apparently goes to church every Sunday. And one of the ladies that she goes to church with was actually the one who alerted the family saying, hey, your mom didn't show up to church this morning. It's very unusual. Have you heard from her? And that's when the cops got involved when they discovered that her house had obviously been broken into in the middle of the night, abducted, possibly. One of the theories is from a bedroom.
How do you do that? How do you abduct, especially someone who's 84? I get it. They have difficulty, and we know this. She had difficulty moving around on her own. Mm-hmm. She lived alone at home. This is just the wildest thing I have ever heard in my entire life.
Right. And she does. Tucson isn't a huge city. Obviously, it's surrounded, especially where Nancy lived. It's very, like, it's desert. There's, cactuses. It's not like a... Basically, what I'm trying to get to is what cops are doing, obviously, when situations like this happen, is like in big cities like LA, it's usually much easier because, you interview neighbors. Neighbors have Ring camera, which they are doing.
Are looking at that.
They are looking at Ring camera. They're looking at signal light cameras, traffic light cameras, and et cetera, and trying to track who went in and out of this area. But it's obviously much easier to do when you're in a much more populated area, which this is not. And as of now, I don't know if cops have gotten anything from neighbors. I know a few of the neighbors have said their Ring cameras do not point out to the street. So there's no way of seeing like a car that came into the area at that time. In today's day and age, I'd like to believe that, there's cameras everywhere. Eventually, they're going to track down
Teslas too on the street.
Right.
Cameras
so
everywhere.
Who came into this area and at least pinpoint, okay, maybe they find a license plate, they find a make and model of a car, and then are able to kind of limit it down. They also opened up a tip line last night for people to submit tips to them, which is obviously very helpful in cases like this. So...
Well, typically, the police are very tight-lipped around the investigation alone, so there's always a lot of information that we don't even know yet. We just know she's missing, and we find out about things probably 24 hours after they've already found out, and they're investigating that exact thing. Now, I want to talk about the potentials here of why. Now, the motive has been the big conversation online. I mean, we don't know the motive. We don't know why this happened. Why would somebody do this? And Savannah, she's a big figure in the news on the Today Show. Today Show can be political at times, and there are people who target loved ones of people that they disagree with. So a lot of people feel that this could be potentially a ransom situation. But what's interesting is that there hasn't been, or at least any information that we know right now, of a ransom being asked for. And this is the fact that really haunts me. Nancy has to take this medication every single day, or it's fatal for her. And it's already been, what, 2-3 days
going
now?
on 3 days now.
And she needs to take the medication daily.
2.5. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really scary situation. And yeah, like you said, I don't want to be speculative, but it doesn't seem random. At least to me. No. I mean, yes, obviously it could be, just a random. The other theory I thought was, at first people thought she lived in obviously a very nice home in a nice area of Tucson, but thought maybe someone was breaking in and didn't realize she was home and, something happened. But to me, if that were the case, I don't know if they would be abducting her. You know what I mean?
It doesn't make sense. And I know that they're looking at sex offenders, they said, around the area to see if anybody's a red flag. And also, they're probably looking online. They're looking at people that were commenting on Savannah's posts and potential stalkers of Savannah. This all just is so confusing. And maybe it's somebody they know.
Very possible. Yeah, that is
somebody they know.
It could be a caretaker. Who knows?
It's like, put yourself in the shoes of Savannah right now. I know she's posted about it, asking for prayer and everything. We talk about it like it's news and everything, but it's like, man, put yourself in the shoes of Savannah right now. Her mother is missing, and like, imagine that thought process right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine. Our 84-year-old mother, obviously, she's flown back to Arizona and is, working, I believe, with law enforcement, or at least staying with family out there. She was obviously, this is completely on the back burner, but she was supposed to be covering the Winter Olympics heavily, which obviously that's not going to happen.
No.
Even if I would imagine, even if they find Nancy, I don't believe she will be partaking in any of the coverage of the Olympics, which obviously, why the hell would you?
But the fact that they found blood, and we'll move on in a second, but the fact that they found blood in the house, and they haven't specified whether or not it's Nancy's or somebody else's, that's all we know.
That there was some type of struggle, clearly.
Some type of struggle.
Yeah.
And like, this just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does not make sense. But hopefully we'll have an update to that story at some point.
And time is of the essence. That's
totally
the thing
because
time is of the essence
because of the medication, for sure.
Right. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on to Don Lemon.
Back to
our
him.
favorite independent journalist who was arrested, or some people's favorite, I guess you can say.
Not mine.
Yeah, so Don. He spoke out after, obviously. He held a big press conference after he was left out of jail. I think he went on his podcast, and spoke at length about this whole situation.
But I'm going to stop you there really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, look at this. He gets released, immediately goes on his podcast. You know how good the numbers were?
Oh, of course.
It was like 700,000 in the first couple hours.
You thought Don Lemon wasn't going to capitalize on this?
This is amazing for his career.
Oh, he was, the best thing to happen to him was to get arrested by the Feds.
Sorry, move on.
But yeah, that was.
Back to what our new update is.
Yeah, the new update, Jimmy Kimmel, so he went on Jimmy Kimmel last night, and he got a little more into the details of actually how it all went down, essentially. And I was actually surprised at the time when it didn't break until the morning, because his attorney actually put out a statement. And I was thinking in my head, like, he's at all these Grammys parties, right? And like, did no one get video of it? Or how did no one tweet about like, oh my God, Don Lemon. So basically, because it happened at his hotel. So he goes back to his hotel. That's what he says on Jimmy Kimmel. And he was inside a hotel elevator, actually, and basically said agents grabbed him, and initially didn't even identify themselves. Apparently, he said, I need a warrant, which they didn't show right away. And eventually, I guess some guy came up to him and had it on their phone. So he's like, okay. And then the other interesting claim that I thought was that apparently him and his attorneys had been working. Basically, they were never given the opportunity to just turn himself in. Mm-hmm. Apparently, his legal team was making efforts to do so. They just, the feds came in and arrested him.
Right. So what Don Lemon said, essentially, is that they chose theatrics over procedure.
Which is
They wanted to make a spectacle out of it. Now, that's what's surprising, is that it's at his hotel. So I get, it's a little more in private, but if I see Dawn Lemon being escorted out of the hotel, you'd think phones would be all over this. Maybe it was very late in the night.
Yeah, it was. It was in there. It was very late because it was after all the parties, early morning. But I want to give some pushback to that though. If they wanted to go theatrical, they would have arrested him at one of the parties. The guy was posted on TikTok at what is it, Cat's Eye? Is that the band?
Right.
He was at Cat's Eye's performance. Like, that's where you should have done it if they were looking for theatrics. I feel like they tried to be low key.
They probably wanted to. They probably tried.
So they were following him around, and then they finally pinpointed his location. But yeah, I mean, regardless, he'll be in, he was released last Friday, but he will be back in court next week.
Where do you think this goes?
Nowhere, probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's going to face any serious time or anything.
I don't think he'll face time at all.
I mean, it'll all come down to, from what I understand, is if the government can prove that he had anything to do with the protesters.
With the riling up of the protesters.
Exactly. Like if he was involved at all, I think then he could be in some trouble. But if they can't prove that, I don't understand how they have any grounds to stand on if he said he was just covering the event.
Well, here's the deal. It comes down to witnesses, and the witnesses are the other protesters around. And when they bring them in as witnesses, whose side are they going to be on? They're not going to be on Dawn Lemon's. I mean, they're not going to be on the other side. They're going to be on Dawn Lemon's side because everybody's fighting for him. So their witnesses are not going to work.
But you can imagine they'll probably be hopefully, to be fair, interviewing some of the people who would just attend this church,
right? No,
who will actually probably don't like Dawn,
right?
So.
But it's hard because there's bias on both sides. So.
Yeah, well, that's the other issue because my stance from the beginning on this is like journalists should be able to cover, the news. And if that's what he was doing was covering the news, then like I don't think anything should happen to him. But at the same time, it was a church that these protesters were disrupting, and the fact that they went into the church is against the law. You can't do that.
Right.
So if they can protest all they want outside of the church, but if Dawn did have anything to do with, the activity inside the church, then yeah, he should be in trouble.
Well, this was absolutely, to me, 100% planned. The going into the church was planned. Yes, they were probably outside and they're going to say no, and then it got crazy and then we all went inside the church.
Right. But
this seemed very, very planned. This is something that doesn't happen often or at all for them to actually go inside the church. Whoever organized this was definitely a premeditated rush-in of the church.
No, I know.
That's just my opinion.
A lot of people think that. And I mean, I'm not a super religious guy myself, but like that's the law.
And how did Dawn Lemon, because he lives where? Los Angeles?
I think or New York.
New York?
Maybe. I don't know where.
How far is that from Minnesota? I mean, the fact that maybe he was in the city already.
He says he was there. Dawn's side is he was already there covering all the unrest due to Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Gotcha. And that he got either this tip or somehow reporting on those stories linked up, knew that this was going down. So he showed up because he thought it was going to be a news story. But yeah, we'll see.
Well, it's probably not going to go anywhere, to be honest.
No.
But it is going to be more theatrics.
For sure. For sure. He's
more theatrics.
He is loving every second of this. Okay, the next story is near and dear to your heart because I found out about this before because I was like, yeah, so the Kelly Clarkson show is donezo after 7 seasons.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
So sad. Like, here's the deal, is that it's not even a problem of ratings. It wasn't canceled. Kelly Clarkson herself has decided to end it. We know for some time there's been rumors about this, that she was going to step away because she's dealt with a lot the last year. Her ex-husband, Brandon Blackstock, they shared 2 children together. Yeah. It's been a problem for a while. She's been a lot going on. We know that she stepped off the show for a while, even before that happened. So it was time for her. It was
for sure. Yeah, it could be like all the reasons you said. I guess she said she's going to prioritize her kids, which obviously makes sense with obviously her ex-husband passing away this past year. Obviously, it was really hard on everyone, and I know they had to take a little bit of a break from all that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. So everyone's known Kelly Clarkson through the TV since, she American Idol when we were like little kids. But was she like, did you actually interact with Kelly Clarkson? Like, How is she pretty cool?
Very, very nice. The nicest person that I've ever worked with. ever.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like it's kind of a given. Everybody knows Kelly's super nice.
Yeah.
But it's really sad, and they did talk about also having a new host step up and just start doing a different host and kind of just transfer it into another host. They even brought Chelsea Handler in, which there was mixed opinions about.
That didn't work.
They are going to be using guest hosts for the next few weeks and the next few months because it's going to go until fall 2026.
And is she not going to do any of the episodes?
She is.
She's going to do like a farewell or some of them.
Yeah, she'll have her exit and everything and be a part of that, and it'll be special. But if anybody didn't know, I mean, I worked on Kelly Clarkson's show the first 2 seasons, here and there, and it was my first job before I moved out to LA, and it's actually the job that caused me to move out here because
we have Kelly Clarkson to blame.
Yeah, right. You have Kelly Clarkson to blame that I am here. No, but I was flying back and forth to work on her field team, and eventually I go, no, I got to move out there. Here's the deal. I get out here, and then Kelly decides to take the whole production to New York. That entire thing changed. They said, well, you can, come to New York and work here.
I didn't even know that's where they produced this show.
Yeah, it was at the Universal backlot the entire time, the first few seasons. So
you came to town, and Kelly Clarkson got the hell out of here.
Yeah, she's like, I'm done with this guy. He's terrible.
No, that's awesome. That's cool though. That's like a cool your come to Hollywood story. So it's very sad, but it is also. She did emphasize she's going to continue making music, performing, and teasing possibly returning to The Voice. So it's not like we're not going to see Kelly Clarkson anymore.
She's actually on The Voice starting next week.
Oh, is she?
So I think what she meant was that
she could return
in
the future
seasons.
Got it.
She'll be back.
It's not the last we've seen of Kelly, but she's just probably the grind of the daytime talk show was probably too much.
I will say, like, I respect a lot that she focuses on her family over anything.
Right.
It's always been that way for her. It's very unusual in this
especially
industry.
In our business. Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So all right, well
that's
comments time.
Yeah, let's read these comments. So first on Nancy Guthrie, Sean Robinson, lots of prayers going out to Savannah's family and mom. Yeah. I can't even imagine what her family's going through right now. Mama Laura, this is so sad. This is 10 minutes from our house. It makes no sense. She lives in a beautiful, safe, and quiet neighborhood. I think someone followed them home from the restaurant. Wow. Yeah, so that's another theory. So the restaurant they're talking about was that the Savannah's sister was at dinner with Nancy the night before. That's the last time she was seen. That would be very scary, but that hopefully could give a lead. I would imagine they'd go out to that restaurant and check cameras and stuff. Who knows? Valentine Gal, someone knew who she was, a mom of a very well-known rich news anchor, and she's an easy target to kidnap and ask for ransom. Why else take a sweet older lady and not take her purse and CC's?
Yeah. But the fact that they haven't asked for it, we don't know, though. We don't know if they've asked for it.
Yeah, they may have. I would imagine that would have gotten out by now if there was some type of ransom note, or maybe that they discovered she was missing before that could happen. I don't know.
Because they claim that there is no suspect right now.
Yeah, which I feel like you would have a suspect if there was someone contacting them saying that they have her.
Right.
Don Lemon, Jamie Kimbrough. I don't consider Don Lemon a journalist. He is like Sean Hannity, an opinion person. Journalists are not one-sided, in my humble opinion.
Well,
I think he's a journalist. I mean, he's been doing it his entire life. He's worked for news organizations. I also think journalist is a kind of a loose term nowadays.
It is.
Anyone with a phone can be a journalist.
Right. Did you go to school for journalism?
I did, actually. I did. I went for broadcast journalism.
Wow. So you're a legit.
I'm a legit journalist.
Which I know you are in here, but even beforehand, you were a journalist.
Yeah. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do, but that's what I did at school. Lizzie Birdsworth. People should not disrupt church services. Yeah, it's the law.
I agree.
Whether you're religious or not.
The law, right. So it's going to come down to who organized that.
Yeah, I mean, those people should be the ones in trouble. Whoever said, let's go into the
And there are 8 people, including Don Lemon, that are currently charged.
Yeah, a few other journalists and also members of the protesters, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that have already been either arrested or charged.
Right.
Lizzie, that was Lizzie's. Joe Hernandez, Don Lemon can now buy CNN. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know how cheap CNN is, but I don't know. I'm not a CNN guy, but I know it's probably pretty popular.
I will say
certain people.
His YouTube channel views when he started the Don Lemon show on.
Well, he did it on Twitter first.
He did it on Twitter, and then Elon fired him, and that was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But then on YouTube, his views were not great for a long time when it started.
Now I'm sure they've skyrocketed.
His views, even before this, are really high. He's making bank.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the guy's got money. I don't think he's concerned about money. I think at this point in Don's life, he's looking for eyeballs
Yeah.
and attention.
Yeah.
And he got it.
Mm-hmm.
Torch. Don was interviewing the pastor and protesters, getting both sides. Yeah, I mean, he allegedly did interview one of the pastors at the church, or not even allegedly. I think it's on camera.
Yeah, it is on camera.
And so he was getting both sides, doing journalism, but if he had anything to do with the organizing and storming into the church, that doesn't really matter.
And he's a journalist. He knows that that's a line that if you cross it, you can face consequences.
Right.
So he had to have known going in here, I'm at risk. And then you can play the whole card. You probably thought, after this, I can play the card that I was just covering it. So I'm going to go inside.
That could be. Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Clarkson, Pokey Ninja Fun. I can respect her stopping it for her to be a mom. Yeah, I think everyone can. I mean, Kelly's great, super successful.
Yeah.
Her show's good, but I feel like the grind of doing it daily, it's on every day, right?
Every day. And one thing that she did that was unique, that was very popular, was the Kellyoke in the beginning.
Okay.
It was where she sings a song. She does a massive performance to start the show every single day. Can you imagine having to do like an American Idol level performance every single day?
I mean, Branson, she's a singer.
She is, but it's like, plus you got the interviews you got to research, all the people you got to have on. She was really busy.
Yeah, no, I know.
I will say that she never seemed fazed by it though. She was always professional.
Nice.
She had a really nice Bronco outside, old school Bronco.
Okay.
And she was great.
Okay. Sounds good.
That was very random, but
she's got a Bronco.
Very nice Bronco.
All right, guys. Branson, it was fun.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you have some news actually.
By the way, we have an announcement. Starting today at 2:45 p.m. PST Pacific time, I'm going to be hosting the TMZ podcast afternoon edition. So these stories that you hear in the morning, there's updates throughout the day. Typically, we'll film this, we'll go out there, and then something massive will break.
100%.
And we don't get to cover those. So we're going to start having another section, another edition to cover those stories right here. And I don't have a set co-host yet, so
he's auditioning.
you're probably going to say, well, I'm just going to be going around the office like, hey, Devin, you available?
People. Yeah, sounds good.
Babcock, whatever.
It's a really good idea just because, like you said, like a lot of these big stories, like we'll be like, oh, obviously we're still working on it. And an hour or two goes by and there'll be a massive update and all of this will kind of be obsolete.
Be right here on the YouTube channel, TMZ's main channel, and as well on Apple and Spotify. So we will see you then.
So see you in the afternoons now as well.